Hi everybody, my name is Jens Larsen. In this video I'm going to take 3 different Allan Holdsworth voicings that I transcribed, and then I'm going to expand upon them and turn them into something that I can use when I'm comping over a D Dorian modal background. I'm also going to talk about how Allan uses the different textures and how that's actually something that we as jazz compers really want to take into consideration and get into our playing, because that's something we forget very often. If you want to learn more about jazz guitar, about improvising over chord changes, checking out some interesting arpeggios or chord voicings, then subscribe to my channel. If you want to make sure not to miss anything, then click the little bell notification icon. In the example that I just played, there were 3 different voicing types being used. And for each of those voicing types, I'm going to talk about where I got it from, and then also how I generalized that one voicing into something that I could harmonize an entire scale with, so that I have something that I can use on this D minor background. This is going to give you some insight, so that if you have a voicing that you transcribed or that you came across somewhere else, then you can also take that and then expand it into something that you can use in a lot of different places. This first type of voicing is something that I've used in other lessons on Holdsworth voicings, and that's this voicing. That's where it all started. This is coming out of where he actually uses this type of voicing quite often. So it's on 16 Men of Tain in what's it called, 0724, and it's also in The Things You See. Usually I seem to remember that when he plays it, I saw it in a video, he does it like this. I tend to put the second highest voice on the B string. The way I'm moving it around here, so I'm actually making this voice a little bit of an exception, because I want to have different voicings that are either neutral to D minor or directly just a D minor voicing. That's kind of how I'm thinking about it, and then I just want to be able to harmonize the scale. So if I take this voicing and I want to move it down a step, then I move everything down like this in the scale. So in this case it's moving each note down to the next note in C major. That will give me this voicing. And of course you can use that, but maybe you want to have something that's a little bit more consonant. And one way of doing that was just to remove the F and make that into a G. And then instead of having a B minor, I would like to have this, not a B minor, but a B in my E minor chord. Then I put in an A instead, so I have this. So now I have this movement. So really what I'm doing is I'm first just moving the voicing, and then I'm looking at where I can sort of change a note or two, and in that way I can get a voicing that I think works well in the context, and it's going to fit well with the sound that I already have here. And then I move that in the scale, and one more time. And then here a few steps down I get this really nice wide open D minor 13 voicing, which is really nice Dorian sound. So if I turn this into a scale exercise, then that will be this. As you can see, I'm aiming to find voicings that will either work as a sort of D minor or a D minor 13 type voicing, like these, or something that's kind of neutral and will just sort of sit well in between without sounding like a completely different chord. And that means that I have, this one is quite neutral, this one is sort of a little bit on the edge. I could have added the C in there instead of the D, which actually sounds quite like something Holdsworth might play. But in this case I just kept it like this, and then transition up to the D13. This is kind of D minor 11, so this kind of A sus4 or E minor 11. We have the original voicing, and then again D minor 13, and then this somewhat neutral A minor voicing. this example is using this rather stretchy voicing with some close intervals in there. But at the same time, this is actually kind of easy to just move through the scale and it will work as a D minor voicing pretty much all the way. These higher voicings are really just 3-note voicings, and they're consisting out of a second and then a skip up to what you consider maybe a 7th if the first one's the root. And they're really ambiguous. You can't really tell most of the time what voicings they are. When I'm using them here, I'm sort of trying to focus on just having an F in there if I have a sustained voicing for a longer period of time. But I do also use, like in the example, I will also just use this to get sort of a D, let's see, D13, I can put the rest under it like this. They will work for that as well. I think it's nice to have these to just move around, and they're good to play some sort of simple moving melodies as block chords to get that, and then this will work better in this type of context than playing like drop 2 voicings and other more sort of bop oriented voicings, because the sound is just lends itself better to modal jazz. These voicings will also work really well if you just move them through the scale, and that will be this. Using these 3 different voicing types is something that you can also mix together so that you have sort of different gears to what you're doing with your comping. So you have large structures that are probably going to be mostly really sustained chords. They're not moving too much, and you really want to hear, if you play a chord like this, you want to hear all the sound that's in there, and it's covering a really huge range. And then you can sort of vary that by having more moving material happening, like, and then go back to playing the larger voicings, or maybe these voicings as a different sound altogether also. Do you make some conscious choices or have some sort of strategy for when you're using which type of voicing when you're comping? Then maybe leave a comment on this, because if you have something to share on this, I think it's an interesting topic, and I think very often as guitar players we don't really think about too much how the voicings actually sound, and we'll just be playing something. And really, if you start working with it, being aware of the texture of a voicing type, and that way you can really have sort of different colors that you can add to the same chord and the same comping in the same song, and that way create a lot of variation. So that's something I'm really curious about, and if you have something to add or suggest on this topic, then please leave a comment. If you want to learn more about jazz guitar and it's the first time you see one of my videos, then subscribe to my channel. The videos that I publish here every week are on finding some solid methods and good strategies to explore all the interesting things about jazz guitar and improvising. If you like this video and you want to help me keep making videos, then check out my Patreon page. I'm very grateful for the support that I'm getting from my patrons, and it's because of that I can keep on publishing videos every week. If you join us over on Patreon, I can also give you something in return for your support. That's about it for this week. Thank you for watching, and until next week.